Welcome to a new episode of the Wool and Twine Fiber Studio Knitting Podcast. My name is Jule and I'm the dye and maker behind Wool and Twine Fiber Studio, which is a small creative space located here in northern Germany where I play with botanical dyes and natural yarns. Welcome back to a new episode, and if you're a new viewer, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. Today I wanted to dive into my current knitting project and also give you a bit of a recap of what I've been up to, because as some of you might know, I have been traveling last month and I still owe you a bit of a recap of those travels. It has been a bit tricky for me to actually figure out how to share everything I did with you, because I think just putting it into one video would have been, I don't know, a bit of a waste of the footage. So I thought I would kind of like split it up in different categories, because technically I've been doing different things. And I have been visiting a yarn festival, I visited some mills, and I've also been doing just some traveling around the UK. So I thought it might be nice to kind of split up the things, just to have a bit of a storyline that makes sense. So in this podcast episode, I wanted to update you on my project and then also give you a bit of an idea of what I've been up to. So yeah, I'm gonna share some things about my visit to the Edinburgh Woolly Good Festival, which is a new yarn festival that took place for the first time last year. And ever since then, I've been a fan and had to travel again for it this year. So I also hope to share with you what I've purchased at the festival and what my acquisitions are. Because obviously, even if you make your own yarn, you have to at least pick up a couple of things at a yarn festival, because it's just exciting to see all of these things. Yeah, just being able to touch everything and see the awesome people behind the small businesses was just very rewarding. So yeah, that was a lovely experience. So how this is going to be, I only have one finished object to share with you, and then two whips, yes, and then I'm gonna share my acquisitions and a little recap of the Woolly Good gathering. I should maybe start out with what I'm wearing. This is my matcha jumper that I knitted out of our heirloom DK base, and this is in the colorway maroon, and I finished this in the last episode, so I'm going to link episode, I think that must be 17. I'm going to link it just in case you're curious about this. I share it more in depth and also have some wearing clips in that episode, so if you're curious about this jumper, then you can check out that episode. The design is by my friend Ines Oliveira of Vert Knit, and it's just a gorgeous design. I can highly recommend making one, because this is one of those wardrobe staples that I believe every knitter should make for themselves. It's still very interesting to knit, which I find cool, because I think sometimes these very basic sweaters might be a bit too boring for some people. I do enjoy a good old stockinette stitch and nothing happening project, but this one is very engaging still with how the increases are shaped and everything. It's very fun to make, so I can highly recommend making a matcha jumper. The pattern is available, so I'm also going to link it down below, and as mentioned, if you want to see it in action, you can watch episode 17 where I share more about it. So yeah, so far about my matcha jumper. Let me start sharing about my current knitting projects with you. So about finished objects, I only have one project to share with you, and this is the home shirt jacket, which is a pattern by Camry Cutler, who's Golden Hour Knitwear on Instagram, and I believe on Ravelry she might be too. So this is the home shirt jacket, and it is a very cool concept, because for me this is pretty much a knitted shirt, and I really loved all the details about it. It's a double folded collar going on, and also the same for the cuffs, which I absolutely loved. It really reminded me of a proper shirt, And this one is going to my partner Christoph, who's going to wear this one, because I thought it would be nice to showcase my yarns in a bit more of a unisex style every now and then, because obviously it's always easy to knit samples in my own size and wear them myself, but I think it's not necessarily the most inclusive way to go about, so I thought to mix things up and make something for a male body, and this is the outcome. It's very beautiful, the pattern is beautifully written. It also features, it also features these sweet I-cord edging that is very neat and makes everything look just perfect and very polished. There is a Ravelry project about this that I'm going to link down below if you want to see it. And also there are some pictures of both me and also Christoph wearing this one, just in case you want to see how it behaves on a men's body shape. So yeah, here are the little double knitted cuffs. And there's also a double knitted button band. I don't know if that's visible like this, but yeah. The button band is also double knit, which makes it all look very neat and polished. The yarn I used is my Onyx DK, which was a limited edition that we just recently had in the shop. I'm really sorry, but this is currently sold out, so I can't provide you with it. But there is an option, I think, like gauge-wise, I would say that linen DK, which is currently in the shop, should also be a good option. That is our summer transition blend with 25% flax fibers in it, so I think that could also work really well with this slightly more drapey garment. I mean, it should have a little bit of drape, just because I think if it's too stiff, I don't know if it would work with this like shirt jacket sorry, with a shirt jacket vibe. So I think I would go with a nice flowy drape without being too like dragging. And so yeah, linen DK would probably also work for this. But yeah, this one is Onyx DK, so in case you were able to snag a sweater quantity in the last update, then this is a great option. I'm going to link all the sizing and yarn amounts below, but I think it was about 500 and something grams for a size, I believe size 4 or 5. I have to double check, but it's definitely going to be in the Ravelry project, so you can check that out if you're curious and want to make one. Christoph is a 97 centimeter bust, so pretty much like mine, which is handy because we can both wear this actually. But he has relatively broad shoulders, so that's what I would take into account, that this is not yet graded to men's sizes, so the shoulder width is more of a female size, so I think we ended up sizing up for one size, I believe. So maybe a size 5, just to accommodate for a slightly broader shoulder. So just definitely make sure if you want to make this for someone with a bit of a broader shoulder that you measure the shoulder before choosing a size. And maybe double check with the designer if it would fit. That's at least what I did. But I think she also included measurements in the pattern, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that is the home shirt jacket. Beautiful pattern, beautifully written, and I can highly, highly recommend. As mentioned, I will put all the info down below, and yeah, I guess I will transition over to my works in progress. I kind of underestimated how much knitting time I would have during my trip to the UK, because I knew that we would be traveling with, you know, from one destination to another by train. So I thought I would have some knitting time, but I don't know, most of the time when I came to one of our accommodations, I was so tired and overwhelmed with everything I saw, which in a really good way, like not complaining or anything, but it was just a lot going on. And I realized I didn't really get to knit as much as I thought I would, and so this is still a work in progress while it was supposed to be a sample for the launch, but you know, sometimes life happens, and I guess for transparency, it's quite interesting also for you to see that not always, like, not all the things that I actually plan turn out the way they are supposed to. So, but this is my Anka's sweater by Petite Knit, and it's also knit in Onyx DK, and I absolutely love this because I was looking for a suitable pattern that I could work on during my trip that would be relatively mindless but still kind of interesting. Plus I wanted it to accompany the home shirt jacket, which is a stockinette stitch sample, so I wanted something with a little bit more texture in the yoke, and this was my final choice. So yeah, this is it. It features this very simple round yoke with a ribbed kind of texture that just, you work this by just doing ribbing, and then you have those in between rows where you actually work the increases for the yoke, so that's quite easy, I guess. And it's just, you know, the perfect mindless project for when you're on the go. Now it's obviously grown quite a bit, but yeah, I'm currently on the sleeve using one of my, oh, I'm dropping stitches, I'm sorry, but I'm using one of my favorite stitch markers by my friend Aude of Bubbles and Berries, and she hand embroiders these onto a piece of felt and then turns them into stitch markers, and I think they're just so cute. So yeah, these are the Bubbles and Berries stitch markers. I don't remember which set this one was from, but I guess it was an autumnal one because it's a mushroom. So but yeah, as always, I keep track of my decreases with these lockable stitch markers. But yeah, I think I have about 3 more decreases to go on this sleeve, and then I will just go for a cuff, which is, I think, just a simple ribbed cuff, if I'm not mistaken. I did, I think, not 100% sure, but I think I made a modification about doing the cast on the Italian way, just because I think the pattern is more catered towards beginners, and so it features a standard cast on, but because I thought this might be a bit of a small neck opening, I wanted a bit more stretch, and so I went with the tubular cast on, just to make sure that there's enough space to fit my head through, but it looks as if it's going to be fitting quite well. So yeah, I knitted this, as said, in Onyx DK, and Onyx DK is a natural anthracite dark grey shade from a blend of Gotland and Swobless cannot pronounce this, sheep fiber, which are both naturally dark sheep breeds, and that's why it turned out this beautiful dark color, which I really love. So yeah, so far about my Anka sweater. The pattern is actually, I think, the second time I'm knitting a petite knit pattern ever, because I think I only did it once when I was not, at the time I was not really like doing business in the knitting industry, and yeah, it's a really, really long time ago. I think it was maybe 2000, I don't know, 17 or so, or maybe even 16, I don't remember, but I remember that it was a very new thing at the time, and she wasn't that huge designer that she's now. But yeah, this one was just the perfect match for the yarn, because apparently with, I don't know if you can see, but it's very halo-y. The yarn has a lot of halo, and the texture, I wanted something simple in texture, but not something too detailed, because I think the halo with the dark color in combination, I don't know if you can see that, but it would have muted the texture quite heavily, and that's why I ended up going for something very simple that you would still be able to see, but not too difficult and not too pronounced. So yeah, this is a lot of fun at the moment, but I definitely do need another project to take with me to the studio, because currently this one is actually quite annoying to carry, because yeah, I commute to the studio back and forth using public transport every day, and it's a bit large for that by now. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let me share my second work in progress with you. So my second work in progress is a bit of a different project that I ended up starting because I was just very curious. So if you watched my latest podcast episode, you will know that I have traveled to Munich in March, and I picked up a very special yarn at a yarn shop called Die Mercerie in Munich, and they had a new to me yarn that is by a Korean brand, and it's a paper yarn. So this is quite interesting. I'm not going to, well, I can share it, but the yarn is in a very tragic state at the moment because I'm almost finished with the first ball, and it's very stiff because it's, yeah, it's paper and it's not very flexible, so that's how the end of a ball looks like. But it's very interesting, and it's I'm crocheting actually with this. So this is what I'm currently working on. I'm not using a certain pattern or anything, but when I saw the yarn, I knew that I would have I wanted to do some kind of home accessories with it, because I mean, this is not suitable to wear as a garment, but I was very intrigued, and I've never used a paper yarn before, so I'm just doing, I don't know if you can see, but I'm just doing the beginning of a little basket kind of project. I'm not using a particular pattern, but I just made a round bottom with just regular, how is it called? Single crochet, double crochet? I think it's called double crochet. I have no idea about crochet terminology, so don't quote me on that, but I was just doing this rounded shape, and then I ended up like changing directions by just inserting the crochet hook in the back, into the back leg of this stitch, which resulted in changing the direction to now work upwards. It's a bit wonky, but once I steam it, I'm pretty sure it's going to be more neat. But yeah, this is how it looks so far. Not a whole lot to see, but I want to make this as a little basket for like bathroom accessories, because I think it would suit our natural stone tiles very well. And yeah, this is just a fun change. I mean, I do 99% do garments and accessories for myself with wool yarns, because that's what I produce, and that's what I work with mainly. But this is a really fun change, and actually I really love how the yarn is like stiff and holding up its shape, but it's not too hard on the hands, at least for me. It's very easy to use. So this is my little crochet accessory project right now. Not much to see. I make sure to update you on how it's going. But yeah, so far I have this part done, and I hope to also make a matching smaller basket with the second color that I got. But so far this is very fun. I'm using a 3mm hook, so I'm trying to keep it a bit more tight, but I think that was also the one that was recommended on the label of the yarn, so I guess yeah, that should work. So yeah, that is my little second project, and I guess the next section is more of not a finished or a work in progress yet, but a plan that I have. So for my next project, I am working with a new yarn that's about to drop, and well, it's not a new yarn, but it's a new color, and so you're getting a bit of behind the scenes right now, but I'm going to be working, I want to do a sample in this yarn, and this is the current swatch that I made, like swatch number 1, This is our nurture yarn it's a fingering weight yarn, and it has this beautiful natural brown shade, which I absolutely love. So yeah, this is the first swatch that I made, and then I made another one just to see if I could get gauge for the project I'm planning with a strand of mohair, and this was just some random leftovers that I had, but I think this might be my favorite for what I'm going for. It's very light, I don't know if you can see, but it's very light and fluffy, and I love how the mohair warms up the original shade of the yarn, which is this, just a tiny bit, and I don't know if you can see, but it's really cool how you can actually shift the color of a yarn by using a strand of mohair with it. Plus I have not knitted a sample of nurture in with a strand of mohair, so this is very interesting. So yeah, you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek at a new colorway that we are going to be introducing very soon. So I guess this is a nice opportunity to also take you along what I'm working on currently. And yeah, this swatch is still a bit damp because I only blocked it this morning, but it kind of leads me to thinking that I want to use this. It's also spot on because I'm thinking of doing the Skorbund shawl by Lerche of Fibertails, which is, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name completely, but it's a very beautiful shawl. It's knitted from the white to, like, how do you say? Is it bottom up or is it top down? What even is top and bottom in shawls? But yeah, you start with the wider edge and you're like getting closer to the straight edge at the top, which I always love to do because I think that's, you know, when you have all of the enthusiasm at the beginning of a project, you do all the hard part with all the like a lot of stitches, and then it's kind of like getting closer to the finish line, you're having less stitches, which can be quite motivating, I guess. But yeah, this is the yarn so far, and this swatch is also, like both swatches actually, also without the mohair, they are both spot on. So it's 21 stitches per 10 centimeters on 3.5 millimeter needles, and they both work. So yeah, I will just decide whether I want to do it just in one single strand of nurture, or if I want to use it with the mohair. I'm currently dyeing a little bit of mohair to test what would work with it, and I just extracted some pigment from walnut hulls in order to get to like a nice, maybe a bit warmer brown shade than this original latte brown that we have. It doesn't have a name yet, so I'm just calling it the working title that Annina, who spins this, and I have been calling it, so it's the latte brown. But yeah, I'll make sure to find a better name for this. But yeah, so far I just wanted to take you along a little bit of behind the scenes and how I choose my project, and you know how the process is going about, because sometimes, yeah, it takes some time to actually choose the yarn combo and everything. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, if you prefer the single, like just on its own, or held with some mohair, because yeah, I have to make up my mind, and any opinion is very welcomed. But yeah, I guess without further ado, let me get to the next section of the podcast. So in this part of the episode, I wanted to take you along my little recap of my trip that I recently did to the UK, and part of this was visiting the Woolly Good Gathering in Edinburgh, which is a great yarn festival organized by some of my friends, partly, and it's just very, very lovely, and I attended for the first time last year, and I just absolutely fell in love with the vibe and everything that was going on. So I ended up deciding that, you know, I knew that I would want to do a longer travel through the UK to visit all of my spinning mills that I work with. And I thought, why not kind of like align the schedules with a trip to Edinburgh again? And not only is the festival wonderful, I also absolutely adore the city. So I hope you don't mind that I might sneak in a couple of pictures or like snaps later on from my trip. So a bit of a like vlogging style type of recap. My partner and I, we both agree that Edinburgh is one of our favorite cities to visit. So yeah, I will definitely include some clips of our like free time activities, and then also from the festival, which, let me tell you, is one of the best yarn festivals I've ever been to. Not only because the vendors are great and it's just a very good, like there was a nice selection, for me at least, like not too much going on, but also a very well curated selection of vendors. And at the same time, I just think that the organizers, they really pay attention to making this a community event. And this is what I really enjoy about it, because I mean, obviously being someone who's also like active in the community as a business owner, it's just absolutely wonderful to connect with people on events like these where we all kind of like gather. And it's just really nice to catch up with, you know, other people from the industry, or you folks that, I mean, I've actually met some customers at Woollygood, which is just magical, and some even showed their projects to me, and yeah, you know, seeing this, seeing my yarn in your hands and what you do with it is just magical. So that was a very lovely experience, and as mentioned, the community aspect of this event is just something that I really like, because I don't know, for me it's important that I can not only like buy yarn and buy notions, but that I can actually spend time with people. And how it was is that they organized it in some kind of like lecture hall. And while the vendors were all on the lower ground and the lower level, there was a kind of gallery above where I guess usually the students would sit and look at the stage and, you know, at the lower level. And this gallery was just the perfect meeting point to actually, you know, sit and knit and also meet people, because you would exit the top gallery level and you would exit the entrance, and you could totally see like everyone from above, because you would be like in the back of the whole lecture gallery. And it was so helpful whenever I was looking for someone whom I wanted to meet up with. It was just so easy to find people. And sometimes at yarn festivals, I find this super stressful, that you kind of don't really know where to meet, and it's very busy and crowded, and that sometimes stresses me out. So this was just so nice. I really enjoyed it. And in general, the vibe sitting in this like gallery and looking down to the vendors and, you know, seeing people look around, and it was just overall a very cozy atmosphere, and I really enjoyed it, and it made the whole experience a lot less overwhelming. I mean, sometimes a yarn festival with everything going on can be extremely overwhelming, and especially because, I mean, I guess we share this, that our hobby is not necessarily very, how do you say, public. So a lot of knitting happens at home, or like at least in like a calm surrounding. And I guess, you know, meeting so many people at once, even if you go to a knit night every now and then, I think it's just very overwhelming sometimes. And at the same time, seeing all of the beautiful yarn and all of what the vendors have to offer, it can be quite a bit and quite overwhelming, I guess. So for me, this whole experience that you could actually like go up to the gallery and relax and take your time with your knitting, potentially catch up with some friends, it was just, for me, this was just very enjoyable and made the whole experience even better than last year. Even though like last year was already wonderful and there were options to sit as well, but this was just, you didn't really have to go to a different room to actually like exit the festival to hang out and just, you know, calm down for a bit, but you could still kind of be in the festival and still be in the vibe. I don't know. It's a bit weird to describe, but that's what I really liked about it. So yeah, if you're considering, definitely go if you want to, because this is just, you really get the feeling that the organizers are paying attention to the people and, you know, making this an event that would actually be a gathering, as they call it. And that's definitely what they did greatly. And yeah, I'm just so happy. And I kind of, my partner and I, because he also just loves Edinburgh so much, he didn't join me in the festival. He kept himself busy with other things while I was at the festival. But we both agreed that we kind of want to make this a yearly trip and go to the festival every year and just visit Edinburgh every year, because it's just a beautiful city. So yeah, that was really lovely. They also had talks and workshops, which I didn't end up attending any, but if you're up for it, that's very lovely. And there also was a social night that was really nice. I mean, we all ended up going to a small space and, you know, hanging out, knitting even more, and listening to some traditional folk music that was played by the folks at River Knits. That was just overall a very enjoyable experience, and there was a bingo going on that was also really fun. So in general, I had the feeling that they were really trying to create a very cozy, fun atmosphere for this event, and they just did brilliantly. So I guess without further ado, let me share a couple of impressions from the Woolly Good Gathering and our trip to Edinburgh. really hope you enjoyed these little clips and impressions from our trip to Edinburgh and our time there at the Woollygood Festival. I guess it's time to now share with you what I got, because yeah, it was just very lovely to catch up with everyone and get a couple of keepsakes from people whom I just admire their work of, and yeah, just get a few bits and bobs that I would have as kind of keepsakes, because I'm pretty sure that if I knit with these now, it will remind me of the trip and the memories I made. So that's the beautiful thing about knitting, I guess, also, that you can get keepsakes that you will actually, you know, that will keep reminding you while you work with them, which I just absolutely love. So let me start sharing them with you. The first acquisitions I made was from Jule of Black Isle Yarns, whom I just admire and adore. She is also a natural dyer based in Scotland, and she creates properly sustainable natural yarns. She also gets her own yarn spun, which, you know, when you know how this works yourself and you do this yourself, you admire someone else's work even more, because you know how hard it is. And it's really rewarding. I'm not saying that this is just hard, but you know, it just gives a certain type of feeling. And Julie makes these absolutely gorgeous yarns, and when I saw this one, I had to get some. So this is her new blend. It's called Gotlandish, and it's a blend of, well, no, it's a crossbreed, bred Gotland, Shetland and Charolais fiber with 50% of alpaca in it. So it's the Gotland crossbreed, hence the name, and then there is the 50% alpaca in it as well. And this is just so nice. It's very soft, at the same time a bit like woolly, and it has some bounce, but also like the cool touch and drape of the alpaca. I don't know, it's very hard to describe, but it's incredibly beautiful and yeah, a real treat. I saw it and I knew I had to get it. So this is 225 meters per 100 grams, so it's a DK, and this is the undyed silvery type of shade. What's really sweet is also that she actually, because she sources these from like small farms, she sources the fiber herself, and she actually included the farm names on the label, which I just think is so nice. And it just makes me so happy. And yeah, proper Highland fleeces worked into this beautiful yarn. And then I obviously, because I mean I couldn't just get the undyed shade, I also got 2 more dyed shades. And look at these. They literally look like jewels, I think. So isn't it just, oh, I'm just really in love. So this one is also the Gotlandish, and it's the colorway Mulberry. Very dark shade. I think she dyes them, she has different base shades of this yarn, and she also has a very dark one, and that's what this one is dyed on. So, and then also this one, which I absolutely love, and this is an indigo dyed, really dark one. So absolutely stunning, isn't it? So yeah, I just love these. And I'm not sure what they will become, but I kind of want to make like something with 3 of these. Not 100% sure. Or I'll do a hat with this one and then use these 2 together. Not 100% sure yet, but yeah. These are my Black Isle yarn treasures that I absolutely adore. And they are just so pretty. I can't wait to knit them up. I don't have a project in mind yet, but yeah, so if you come up with something that you're like, oh, this is a perfect match, feel free to leave a suggestion down below. But yeah, I feel like I want to do something accessory-like, because yeah, then I can wear it pretty much every day in the winter, and it will remind me of the trip and the beautiful yarns that I got. So yeah, my acquisitions from Black Isle Yarns, and let me start sharing the next ones with you. So the next one I got is one from Donna Smith, whom I also absolutely adore, and I'm always so happy that we get to meet at Woolly Good and catch up, because yeah, she's just an overall powerhouse of a woman. I just absolutely love what she does, and this is her Longzund DK. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but it's 100% Shetland that she sources locally and gets spun up. I also absolutely love the label. I'm sorry it's a bit beaten up because it was in my suitcase, but yeah, I just love the label. So this is her signature DK weight yarn, and this is this shade Stain from the 2022-2023 clip, and it's a 4-ply weight of 350 meters per 100 grams. She recommends a needle size of 3 to 3.5 millimeter needles. And this is for sure becoming a hat for Christoph, because I know that he's going to love it. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but he wears a buzz cut hair, so it's very, very short. And during winter, it can be a bit chilly for him, so he needs lots of hats. So yeah, this is definitely going to become a hat for him and a keepsake for the trip to Edinburgh. So yeah, this is the Longzund DK, and it's very lovely. It's woolen spun, it's very bouncy and fluffy, and I just absolutely... Is it even woolen spun? I think it is. Like from the feel of it, but I can't confirm right now. Well, I'm definitely going to leave the info down below, so probably you can read it somewhere, but yeah, this is it. It's this beautiful stone grey type of shade that I just absolutely love. Going to be very lovely to knit this up. So yeah, if you have a fingering weight hat pattern, I always love to do hats the way that I actually start working them from the tip and then knit them downwards, just so I can make sure that I use as much of a yarn as I can, and then I just, you know, knit until I kind of don't have yarn left anymore, and then that's the size of the hat after all. So yeah, in case you have a pattern recommendation, I'm very happy to receive them. So, but I guess let me get to the next one. My next acquisition is also from someone I absolutely admire, and this is from Julia of Woolen Flower, who is also a natural dyer based in Glasgow, and she's just such an artist, and I've been wanting to get some of her yarns for the longest time, and actually like meet her for the longest time, and we met at Woolly Good and had the best chat, and I'm just so incredibly happy that we finally managed to meet in person and, you know, chat all things natural dyeing, and it was just really lovely. I really hope we can do that again soon. But this one is her earth base, and this is spun by John Arbin in Devon actually, and this is a blend of Exmoor Blueface and Swartbliss sheep. Very lovely and bouncy, and this one is the fingering weight version, and it's 400 meters per 100 grams. So yeah, it's very nice and fluffy. And I love that she makes these ginormous hanks. I don't know if you can see, but they are taller than my head. And this is such a gorgeous, earthy type of reddish color that I just couldn't resist. And yeah, absolutely loving it. And yeah, I can't wait. I don't really have a project for this one either, but this is becoming something for me for sure, because I think the color suits me quite well. Maybe even a hat as well, I don't know, or a small, I was thinking of a small shawlette type like, or a one skein shawl type of project. So let's see what this is going to become, but it's just gorgeous and I'm really in love. So yeah, this is wonderful, and it also holds a lot of memories from our chat and finally getting to know each other, so that's also something very beautiful. I also got these. They are also from Julia, and they are just so cute. She makes these little embroidery or like whatever small project bundle yarns, and they are just so cute. Look at how tiny they are, like compared to my hand. They are just really small. They are 5 gram skeins, 36 meters each, and you can actually use those for like embroidery or whatever you might want to do. I absolutely love them, and since I want to dive, oops, this is the wrong side. Since I want to do more embroidery and like visible mending and all these kind of things, I thought this might be the beginning of my visible mending and embroidery journey. Who knows? They are just so cute and I really like them. So yeah, these are my yarns that I got from the Woolen Flower lineup. I have one more yarny acquisition that I will admit I was admiring at the Woolly Good gathering, and I ended up getting it at Ginger Twist, which is the Edinburgh local yarn shop you have to visit if you're in Edinburgh. And the thing is that I kind of didn't want to get more yarn, but then I was in love with this already at the festival, and then I saw it again at Ginger Twist, and I was like, okay, maybe this has to happen, and I just absolutely love this. So I've been wanting to try more mulled yarns for the longest time because, as you know, I'm pretty minimalist with my own style, so I really like if there is something going on in the fabric maybe, and usually mulls are what I can really work with. So I got these, and they are 3 skeins of Garthanor's Snowdonia, which is actually a really great sock yarn. I've used it a couple of times before for socks for my boyfriend when I was not having my own at the time, so I definitely absolutely love it. It's a great sock yarn. Obviously no nylon, non-superwash. Please excuse the wrinkly labels. As said, I had these in my suitcase. But yeah, these are is the Snowdonia sock base, and I think it's a blend of, yes, Romney, 70% Romney and 30% Hebridean. It's 200 meters per 50 grams, so fingering weight, and that's why I got 2 skeins of this mulled colorway that is called Acorn. And I wanted to make a pair of socks for Christoph because he was actually not complaining, but he was asking if I could make him another pair or some pairs for the winter again. And because a lot of his old ones wore out and I think he doesn't have a lot of them anymore. So I'm going to make him some with this as the main color. And then I wanted something contrasty for heels, cuffs and toes because I think it would have been very busy to have this mulled color all over. And that's why I went with this one. And this is the colorway Glaslyn. I'm probably pronouncing this horribly wrong, but it's, I think it's close to the shade that's in here. Like, I don't know if you can see, but, so yeah, these are being turned into a pair of socks for Christoph. I think I should have plenty, but I was really unsure if I would have enough with just one of the main color, so I went with 2. And if I have leftovers, I can always do like another shorty sock for myself or something, because I have a 36 EU size, so my feet aren't that long. So usually whenever I have leftovers, I can make another like shorty pair for myself. So let's see how much I will have left over. But yeah, this is my little Garthanor purchase. That I actually made at Ginger Twist, but yeah, you know, it still counts as kind of festival acquisition, I guess, because I technically was inspired to get it from seeing it at the festival. So yeah, that is that. I should also share, like, I have some non-yarny acquisitions, and one of them is just too friggin' cute. I just have to show them to you. So one of them comes in this little paper tube, and it's by a brand called Beyond Measure, and I remember that last year I already got some trinkets from them. So yeah, they are just making awesome stuff. And this year, I think this was a new one, at least I didn't see it last year, but now it's in this little box. But they have these little wooden acorn boxes, and I mean, you probably know if you've been following for a while that I'm in love with these like small things, and anything autumn is very much like up my alley. So yeah, this was just, it had to come with me. And it screws open, and then you can, I don't even know, like I think it has another purpose because there is this one inside. Maybe for like storing embroidery threads or something. But I think I would mainly use it as storage for my stitch markers. So, because this has a very good size apparently, like if you can just throw it in your notions bag and it's not gonna take up a lot of space. So I just really like it. So, but yeah, if you have an idea, I probably should have read about it first, but if you have an idea what this is for, please let me know. Because yeah, I should know, or I'm gonna check if I can find something on the website. And then I have another purchase. I bought this at the Beyond Measure booth as well, but it's by a brand called Tom Dyson, and these are handmade buttons, handmade wooden buttons, and they are just very beautiful, I think. I got this more reddish warm shade, and then one almost stripy from the wood grain, like darker shade. I don't even know if it's wood grain, to be really honest. It does look like a natural grain, but yeah, these are natural wooden buttons, all handmade, which I really, really like the sound of, so I had to get some. I think I mentioned it a couple of times on my podcast episode before that I find buttons incredibly hard because I often feel like buttons, I don't know, they are really, really difficult to get, and oftentimes when you need some, you don't really have the right ones, so yeah, it can be a bit tricky with buttons. But yeah, these had to come home with me because I just really like them, and I love the natural look of them, so. I have 2 more acquisitions that I didn't make at the Woollygood Edinburgh, but later on the trip, but I still wanted to share them with you because I thought it's very sweet. So one of them is actually a set of stitch markers that I picked up in Bath at a Yarn Story, which is a yarn shop in Bath that you probably know. But this is by a brand called Jule's Fiber, or Fiber Jules? No, Fiber Jules. I'm sorry, Fiber Jules. And they are making these very beautiful high quality stitch markers. Let me see if I can show them without dropping. So these are the stitch markers. They are very high. As said, now I dropped one. So let me try to get one out. So they all have these little pearls. I don't know if this is going to be very messy to show, but they have these little pearls, so they are very minimalistic, which I really like. And then they have one main one in each set that features a Swarovski type of, like, this little sparkly thing. And I really like them because I think they're perfect for raglan projects and in general projects that require like one main marker and a lot of smaller ones. So, or maybe like something lacy. This is very great for those. So really liking these stitch markers. And I mean, I guess you can never have enough stitch markers, right? And then I picked up, this is not necessarily super knitting related, but kind of. So I picked up this handmade leather pocket at a really cute little shop in Bath that is called Hidden. That one was recommended to me by my friend Katie of Elliot and May. You might know her, she's a natural dyer too. But she recommended the shop to me, and I really loved these handmade and hand-sewn leather pockets. It's by a brand called Shrew, and they are handmade. I just love that they are just like very high quality and beautiful. And I thought this would be great to store some notions in, like tapestry needles and something like that, and just pop it into your project bag whenever you need like just the essentials. So this is what I think this will be for. And it's just a great keepsake too, so I'm very happy with this one too. So But yes, I guess that brings me to the end of my little haul, if I may call it like that. I think it's very fun to have some keepsakes from this absolutely wonderful trip that I promise I'm going to share more about. I have some ideas on how I can share more from my travels, but I'm going to upload a bit more regularly, hopefully soon. So I guess without further ado, let me end this episode by saying thank you so much for watching if you're stuck until the end. Please leave a comment below and subscribe to this channel, because we all know that currently it's very hard to keep up to date with the Instagram algorithm. So I'll try to be a bit more active on YouTube and post a bit more on YouTube, just because I feel like it's a bit easier to connect with you here at the moment. So yeah, if you like, you can subscribe and maybe also put the little bell button, because that will notify you whenever I upload again. And yeah, you definitely don't want to miss what I have to share about my trip, because it's gonna be very exciting. So yeah, if you like, subscribe, and I guess until we see each other in the next episode, happy knitting and have a great day. Bye!